Thank you. And it's amazing to see so many people on July 5th. I thought the place would be empty. This is fabulous. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for your talk. It was a fine talk. Yeah. And I usually ask, are there any questions? But I was, mentoring Jane for consulting interviews, and Kate asked a question that I thought should be asked publicly. So could you ask that question? Could you pass Kate the microphone?
I was asking about how, social and, political change can fit into Zen, because Zen seems to me to be about accepting things as they are, and reducing suffering that way. And I feel very called to reduce suffering through change, rather than just acceptance. And so I asked how, these two things would fit together. Is that a good summary of the question?
Thank you very much.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So the question is, people think of Zen as this passive kind of acceptance. It's okay. It is what it is. And meanwhile, we see all the suffering around us, and we want to do something. There are a lot of people who practice Zen who are, in many ways, socially active. So my teacher always said, Zen means wake up and help this world. Attain your true self and help this world. So there's this popular image of Zen, we say, oh, that's so Zen, This popular image of Zen. And this popular image of Zen is exactly that kind of passive, oh, you must accept what is. But acceptance doesn't mean acceptance as in, it has to be this way. Acceptance means, yes, that's how it is. I have a really bad knee, and it doesn't hurt. It just prevents me from doing a lot of things, like sitting, the way James is sitting. I can't sit like that anymore. So acceptance means recognizing, yes, I have this really bad knee. I can't do normal prostrations. I have to do chair squats. So yes, I have this really bad knee. That's accepting in the sense of recognition. This is what it is. But I still do lots and lots of physical therapy exercises, and I still am very careful in what postures that I take and what activities that I do, because I don't want to seize up. So you recognize this is what it is, and then what do you do about it? And as Jane said in her answer to you, which was a wonderful answer, it's different for every person. How we respond depends on our karma, depends on our situation, depends our relationship to the situation, all these things. So everyone will respond differently. But Zen means awakening ourselves so we actually can respond clearly instead of responding to our ideas of the situation, which may not be how the situation is. So in some sense, the function of Zen practice is to help us act in this world. We have the saying, not for me. So a long time ago, there was this, at the time he was a layperson, he later became a monk and became a Zen master, and then had a massive heart attack giving a Kangan interview to a 12-year-old girl in Hong Kong, and died instantly in his 50s. But his lay name was Sihua Liao. And when he was a layperson, he wrote a postcard to Zen Master Sungsan. What is the fast road to Zen? And you have to understand that that Sihua Liao, he later became Subang Sanim, he was a kind of always talking back. This was not a respectful question. It was like the guy asking Jojo, does a dog have bitter nature? So what is the fast road to Zen? And Zen Master Sung-san replied, not for me. So that's exactly what your question is talking about. This is not about making me feel better, feel calmer. I mean, yeah, these are side effects. They happen and they're very important because they help us function. But it's not about that. It's about for whom? What is the direction of our life? So thank you very much for your question. Okay. Because I know a lot of people need to hear that. Are there any other questions? Yes. Oh, microphone.
Could you please speak a bit about intention setting before practice?
Intention setting before practice. You know, there are many, many kinds of practice. And some of them do that kind of thing. You set an intention, and that directs your practice. But in Zen practice, we only have one intention, and that's to wake up. You know? And then the function of waking up is helping this world. So we don't set an intention. You just sit. You just have your practice. And there's bowing practice, and there's chanting practice, there's walking meditation, there's Kongan practice. So we have these practices. But we just do them 100%. So when you sit, a standard practice for beginners, and the only reason it's for beginners is because you don't need any background to do it. You can do it your whole life. It's a wonderful practice. We don't have hierarchies. First you do this, then you do this, then you do this. But a practice everyone can relate to is not just observing your breath, but counting your breath. Because if you just observe your breath, you can kind of float off and not realize it. And before you know it, you're like in St. Louis. You didn't even realize that you got on I-70, you know. But if you're counting your breath, first 1, and then 2, and then 3. I always count on the out breath. Other people do it differently. Go up to 10, and then start again at 1. And the reason we don't keep going is because if you keep going, then you say, well, last time I got up to 350, so I was breathing too many breaths. You know, I want to breathe fewer breaths, you know, so we don't want that kind of comparison, just 1 through 10, 1 through 10. Then you have something to bring your mind back to. Bring your mind back. Just bring your mind back. And it's that act of bringing our mind back. That's the strength of practice. That's what we bring with us in the rest of our life. So in the rest of our life, we find ourselves distracted. We find that our mind is in St. Louis, and we didn't even realize we'd gone onto I-70, and we completely forgot what we were actually doing. And then, oh, bring your mind back. Oh, bring your mind back. So, and we have other practice. We have mantra practice. We have great question. We have sort of a combination of mantra and great question. We have, you know, and other practices too. But the main point is bring your mind back. Just bring your mind back. So, Zen means cut through our thinking, cut through our speech, cut through our ideas. So we have these great question practices like, what am I? What is this? So who are you really? Each of us, this question, what am I? Your true self. To see this very clearly and not be distracted by the other stuff. Just bring your mind back. Just bring your mind back. Okay? Thank you. Are there any other questions? Yes.
I guess I always thought the 4 great vows were a kind of intention.
What kind of what?
Were kind of like an intention, the 4 great vows that we say at the
Direction.
Direction. So what's the difference between the four great vows are the direction, and the wake up and help this world.
That's also a direction. So an intention, I don't quite know what you meant by intention, but my background, an intention means, well, I'll give you a trivial and stupid example. I used to help write the state assessments for math, for K-12, for a very brief period of time. And then they realized that I didn't quite sync with what they were doing, and so they stopped asking me to do it. But you have these standards that come before, before kids can be tested. They have no, and the standards read something like, the student will be able to, state the Pythagorean theorem, prove the Pythagorean theorem, that kind of thing. The student will be able to add two-digit numbers. Okay, so to me, that's what an intention is. Maybe that's not what you were talking about, but it means that you have something very precise kind of focus. Whereas a direction is not that precise. A direction is, you're not boxing yourself in. It's much broader. So the four great vows are a direction. They're not an intention. Okay? Thank you. Are there any other questions? Well, I guess we're going to stop early then.